3:30 tomorrow, Ohio State is going to go on the road up to Seattle to play the Washington Huskies, who are undefeated, coming off of a huge win, blowout win over their rival Wazoo. This game was actually a 31-24 game into the fourth quarter, so the 59-24, don't let it deceive you. Ohio State has a 68.8% chance to win. They were favored by 7.5 a couple hours ago. They had a shot way up to 9.5, and now it actually went down to 8.5, so this spread is all over the place. Now the Buckeyes are favored by over a touchdown. The over-under is at 52.5, so they are kind of predicting like a 30-22, 29-22 type game. I would take Ohio State to cover, and I would take the over. Even if they don't cover, I think the over is going to hit in this game. I will say I want to see a little bit more about how Ryan is going to call this game. He was super conservative against Texas. We'll see what the game plan is against Washington. But let's get into some of the statistics for this game. So the passing yards are almost identical for both of these quarterbacks, with Julian Sand and DeMond Williams Jr. Actually, I'm going to jump over. No, let's do this view. All right, so 68.8% chance to win this game. Excuse me. 8.5, 52.5 is the total. And then let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So if we're looking at passing yards, so Julian Sand has one more passing yard than DeMond Williams Jr. He has 8 touchdowns with 3 picks, when Williams Jr. for Washington only has 6 touchdowns, but he has 0 interceptions. And actually, I know this is going to sound like a biased Ohio State fan. I think this might favor Ohio State, because DeMond Williams Jr. is still, before I look stupid, what year is he? He's a sophomore. So I do think the interceptions might favor Julian Sand a little bit, just because having to go through the interceptions, with DeMond Williams Jr. being a sophomore, he's a younger quarterback, maybe not having to go through all of those interceptions, obviously, because last year he wasn't the full starter behind Will Rogers. I think he came in like halfway through the season last year. So I do think quarterback favors Julian Sand. With DeMond Williams Jr., I am curious to see how Ohio State is going to spy him. They have spied Arvell versus Arch. We've seen them spy Caleb. So we're going to see kind of how they really want to spy this. I will say I would like Caleb back sometimes, just because at that Ohio game, which I was at, the long touchdown that was like Lorenzo was trying to tackle him 35 times and couldn't get him. So maybe I want to see the secondary with this offense kind of laid back, maybe 2 high or maybe 1 high, and have Jalen McClain in the box. But the problem with that is Jonah Coleman. He can stretch these linebackers out. The thing is, with these linebackers, I think Arvell spying and Sonny Styles on Jonah Coleman. Sonny Styles can hit hard. I would not be surprised if he forces a fumble or maybe even has like an interception in this game. But I am excited to see this rushing battle from Jonah Coleman. He statistically is the best running back in the Big Ten. Is actually the best running back in the Big Ten? Maybe on College Football 26, he's like a 93 overall. So I think he is still good, but statistically he's been doing very well. I will say he had 5 touchdowns, I think, versus UC Davis a couple weeks ago. But I looked at the drive charts, and they never pulled him out of the game. They were spamming him in the red zone. He never had like 50-yard touchdown runs. He had a kickoff return, or like a punt return, but it was like 9-yard run touchdown, 6-yard run touchdown. So it was never like big. It's just like in the red zone versus an FCS team. They're kind of just spamming him over and over again. But I still think he's very good. He has 347 on the ground throughout 3 games. Bo Jackson, throughout only 2 games, has 217 yards on 18 carries with a touchdown. If you've seen the news over the week, people are speculating that Bo Jackson might be hurt. He was seen in the interview in the background. He had like a light knee brace on. It was maybe waddling a little bit. It didn't look like he was like limping. It just kind of maybe looked a little weird, but it was also wrapped up. So we'll see. I have not heard any injuries from him. They are up practicing today in Washington, so he's with them. He's with the team. So we'll see when game time comes. And obviously that takes us to our receiver battles. This is Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Max Clare, Mylan Graham, Brandon Innes versus David Boston, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the other receivers, but David Boston is a very good receiver. He has 3 touchdowns. Same with Jeremiah has 3 touchdowns. Jeremiah has more yards with more receptions. I think I think Jeremiah had legacy games versus Oregon last year and Tennessee last year, but I don't think Jeremiah's had 3 total touchdowns. I think he's had like 2 receiving touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, but he's never had 3 passing touchdowns. I think that might happen this game. I think Ohio State has a chance of maybe putting up 45 plus points on this defense. Maybe Washington puts up 25. Maybe they put 30 points. I don't think they will, but maybe they put high 20, 28 points on this defense. Ohio State might score 50, so who cares? And I want to see more from this defensive line. Edric has been on and off the field. Obviously had that injury in the offseason. But it's kind of led guys like Tyler Malone, especially Will Smith Jr. and Caden McDonald's. They look freaking phenomenal. I was so worried about guys like Will Smith Jr. and Caden McDonald. And it was kind of like Edric was like a one-man show. But now kind of they're looking good. So that depth is stacked up. And now when we're doing stuff, we're putting like Caden Curry on the nose tackle, Arvell Reese out left, and Bo Atkinson's Kenyatta out right. Kind of just like, so I want to see maybe they only rush 3 and spy 1 or spy 2, kind of something like that. But I am very excited to see. Oh, what did I just do? I accidentally clicked out of my thing. I am very excited to see this kind of battle between DeMont Williams Jr. On the ground game and our ground game versus their up front 7. I want to see how this game translates in the trenches, especially for Ohio State. I want to see Ohio State be able to run block better. So actually this says that Ohio State opened at 13.5. I don't think that was true. I think they only opened up at 10.5. But it's down to 8.5. These teams are both undefeated. And kind of a quick thing to wrap up this pick is with Washington is why the hell are they not ranked? Washington in the coaches poll weren't ranked, but they had like 25 votes. But in the AP poll, they didn't get a single vote. Not a single AP voter even put them in their top 25. Washington is like a top 20 team. They should be ranked. I think they will be ranked. I was super high on USC and Washington in the offseason. I had them finishing above Michigan and Illinois in the Big Ten. So I am very excited to see this game. A lot of people are picking Washington. I'm not, and that's going to come to my pick where I think you guys can all assume who I am picking to win this game. I am picking Ohio State to steamroll Washington. I think this is a game where Ohio State wants to come out and just swing, score 21 points in the first quarter. I could be very wrong, but this game reminds me of what Oregon was last year, and I think Ryan Day playing Oregon twice and having those 2 polar opposite results says, okay, we can do the game plan that we had against Oregon last year the first time or the second time. Let's do the second time. Let's throw it to Jeremiah Smith 15 times in this game and win by, I think this, the noise, I think, will be a factor, but it's like my thing is, the noise don't affect your eyes. If I see Jeremiah Smith wide-ass open down the sideline, I'm going to throw the ball, and who cares? They have 2 6'4" corners. One of them's hurt, maybe a game-time decision. But watch out for maybe a Carnell Tate legacy. I am excited for this game at 3:30. So that is all the games for today. I am going to pick Ohio State to win and cover and taking the over Washington. So.